Hey guys, it's Lindsay here with video 3 of my experience getting the Pfizer COVID-19 vaccine. It has been 3 weeks since I've got the first one, and I got my second dose last Wednesday. This was actually a little bit different than my first experience. My first experience, I didn't have any side effects. This is Droopers. I didn't have any side effects other than like a sore arm and a little bit of muscle fatigue. This time was a different story. I had a lot of side effects, and I said I would be very honest with you all. So here we go. I'm not cutting anything out, letting you know exactly what happened to me. So if you get the vaccine, you may know what to expect. What may happen to you. So I got the second vaccine about 5 o'clock. That evening, I started to have like nausea symptoms, not feeling well. Probably around 10 o'clock, I got diarrhea. Ugh. I looked it up, and apparently that is a more uncommon symptom, but about 10% of people do get that specific symptom. So that happened. The next morning, I woke up, and I just like felt off. Still a little bit nauseous, but just like overall off. I took my temperature, and I had a temp of about 98.9, which is a little bit higher than that's normal for me. I didn't feel great, so I decided to call off work, and I'm really glad I did because throughout the day, my temperature actually rose to about 101-degree fever, and it stayed that way pretty much all day. As well as the fever, I also experienced chills. I experienced muscle weakness. I was just like overall, like my muscles were very sore. My feet were sore. My armpits were sore. My hands were sore. I like did not feel good. It very much felt like having the flu. I went to bed, I think, that night around 11 and still had the fever. At that point, I did take some Tylenol. The next day, the fever had reduced, but I still didn't feel great, so I called off work again. Fell asleep on the couch until about noon. When I woke up at noon, I started to feel like legitimately better, but still a little bit of like the muscle weakness and achiness. Today is Tuesday, and I still kind of feel like I don't have my full energy back. Usually more of a high energy person. I just still not completely there, but much better. I saw on the news a couple months ago someone who was in one of the trials, and they talked about like having very similar symptoms after the second dose, and I'm really glad that I saw that because I think if I didn't see that, I would have been more scary. Like, am I really sick? Do I have COVID? What's going on? But like if you look at the side effect list, it literally is like normal side effects: fever, nausea, muscle aches. So it's not unheard of, but I've never had any type of reaction to any vaccine before. So for me, that was different. I had a couple of coworkers also get the vaccine on Wednesday, and they had similar side effects. But theirs were more in a range. So I had one coworker who said her side effects were worse and for longer. I had one coworker who said the side effects were more mild for a shorter amount of time. But from who I talked about, it seemed like it was pretty common to have some sort of something. So I would recommend if you get it to definitely don't have anything planned the next day. Maybe clear your schedule just in case you can't go to work. Just being like aware that that is something that legitimately could happen. I think for me, even though like that wasn't fun, I have many friends who have had COVID, and they have very similar symptoms, except they last 2 weeks. So I'd much rather have the symptoms for a week and a half and know I'm not spreading it or infecting people I care about, or putting myself and others at risk for even more severe symptoms, which made for me getting this worth it and I think important. So yeah, I think that's everything I wanted to share. But if you have any questions, feel free to put them in the comments. I'd be happy to talk about it. If anything else interesting happens, I'll make another video and let you know. But other than that, it's been super fun doing this with you guys. I hope it's helpful. As always, I think it's important to make healthcare decisions with your doctor and making decisions that are right for you. So I would never endorse a specific decision